welcome, everybody. Welcome to Pinecone Book Awards celebration. Come on in as they're coming all in here. Welcome, and please put yourself on mute as you're entering the room. And BK's got the music going on in the background when I'm not talking. Welcome. I've lost our logo. We'll have to dance with the logo. See if anybody else is joining us, and then we'll start. We're thrilled to have everybody joining us. Wonderful. Okay, and we can say we'll come back to the music later. Thank you so much. Okay, and I'm just going to, there we go. Okay, so Pinecone Book Award. Yay, we're here, our live celebration. Everybody unmute and let's applaud getting together.
Yay!
Yay!
Thank you. Congratulations.
Awesome. This is for our authors who published in 2021. And here we are in 2022, still recognizing how important it is these authors' voices are in the world, sharing their messages, getting their books out into the hands of people who want to read these important messages. If you have any questions, how about let's start with this. Type in chat where you're from. Tell us where you're from, because we are having guests and participants from all around the world. That's fantastic. So let's see, where are we having people from? Type in chat where you're from. San Francisco, there we are. Illinois and Florida, London, Ontario, Canada, everyone. Okay, we're admitting we're kind of multitasking here. Great. Awesome. New York, New Jersey, a lot of new authors and a lot of new guests still coming in. Fantastic. Wonderful. Glad to have you here. And so what I'd like to do is introduce our authors that we're celebrating tonight. Tonight is day one of a 2-day celebration. We are sharing the joy across 2 days. So I'd like to introduce tonight's authors and acknowledging that we have here BK Wells. Yay, BK. And Dr. Stephen Davidson. Hello, Stephen. Yay. And Jayne Wesler. Hello, Jayne. Yay. And Wendy Weber, all the way from the BC, the West Coast. Hello, Wendy. Wonderful to see everybody here. And I'd also like to welcome and thank our sponsor, BookBrush. Has been our sponsor right from the beginning of the Pinecone Book Award. And we have Kathleen Sweeney. And Kathleen, we're going to ask you to say a few words about BookBrush and how BookBrush fits in with the whole self-publishing authorship world.
Oops, I just got muted again. All right.
You're on mute.
You're still muted,
Kathleen.
Oh, shoot. I think I unmuted myself the same time anyway. Okay, here. I'm really good at tech, right, guys? Okay, so I'm Kathleen Sweeney with BookBrush. I'm the marketing lead and customer service manager. And BookBrush is a platform designed specifically for authors to create your own marketing graphics, all things social media. And here we are. We are with all these outstanding authors. And we're just so blessed to be in the author niche because people help each other. We love to help authors. We're always excited when we can add new tools and authors tell us what they'd like to see next. So anywhere from cover creation all the way to the high end doing a book trailer, you can do that with the BookBrush tools. And so we're pleased to help support the Pinecone Awards. And it's just been fun to be a sponsor of this. So we are enjoying being in the author community. And just a plug, if you're not familiar with BookBrush, it's an online website, bookbrush.com. Come check us out.
Thank you so much, Kathleen. And Kathleen and I first met at the beginning of the pandemic early on. And I've attended probably most of the webinars on how
Oodles
to
of them.
create.
Yes, I love her in my webinars because she's helpful with other folks that have questions, because the multitasking with the chat and things, and so it's just been wonderful.
And I have just found Kathleen to be like a bundle of energy, and the customer support and services with all my questions. I mean, so instant and so fabulous. And, I use BookBrush to draft up and create those original concepts for my book covers. So it's really been fabulous. And then the 3D and the mock-ups, like just check it out. It's fantastic. So thank you, Kathleen, and to your team for all of your support.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for having me. I'm going to stick around a few minutes and then I'm off to a band concert, and it's nothing against you, but my middle son plays the euphonium and it's his first night playing the tuba. So we're kind of excited on that. So I'll be here for a little bit and then I'm just going to sneak out.
Okay. Thank you. So a little bit about Pinecone Book Award, and then we're going to get right into introducing our authors and hearing them read from their books. So back in let me think, I have to think back now. In 2019, I thought, no, it was 2020 because it was the pandemic. And many of us had met in Richard Nongard's 12-week book group. And towards the end of the year of 2020, I thought, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of work to not just write the book, but to publish this book. And I'm just wondering how are self-published authors recognized? And that's how Pinecone Book Award was birthed, along with a book that came out later. So, when I spoke to, I think I was speaking with Wendy Weber at the time, and we were kind of talking about, well, what does a pine cone look like, right? And a pine cone holds many seeds of potential. Do you remember that conversation, Wendy? Way back in the end of 2020. And it's small. It's like self-publishing entrepreneurship. But just imagine the rewards, the many rewards, not just to ourselves as authors, but to the world, to all the readers that will receive those words through our books. So Pinecone Book Award is important because new self-published authors and authorpreneurs, so authorpreneurs are those who have published more than one book, deserve recognition for their perseverance. Both activities, the writing and publishing, demand endurance. And we all know about that, right? And we all know about resilience, what it takes to push through and keep on pushing through. And the resilience when we face those setbacks, those times when we just don't feel the momentum, when we don't feel the motivation, but the resilience to just get back up. And Paula isn't here tonight, but I know she runs marathons. And sometimes writing a book and publishing that book is like running a marathon. And so that resilience really comes in. And here, my cheat notes here said it's akin to running a marathon. Authors move from that relentless knowledge that they have a book in them that they're wanting to write, having it reviewed and then edited, and then to the daunting and exhilarating task of publishing. And I say exhilarating because even as we are uploading to Amazon, KDP, Ingram, Spark, there's that point where when we hit that button, when we hit that publish button, right? Isn't that an exhilarating moment to hit that button? So the authors that we're celebrating have done an incredible job of staying on task, overcoming imposter syndrome, that dreaded imposter syndrome gremlin, and engaging themselves beyond the vulnerability of, which is often experienced when putting pen to paper. How much should I open up? How much should I share? And offering what they know or have experienced in life into a book for the world to read. The Pinecone Book Award offers self-published authors and authorpreneurs in fiction and nonfiction acknowledgement for this perseverance through the writing and self-publishing journey. They are bringing extraordinary books. You are bringing extraordinary books into our world. And so congratulations for all of this hard work, all of this perseverance, and all of this resilience. And there are those goosebumps that I get when I get all excited about self-publishing, and putting our works into the world. So feel free to get excited with me and others as our self-published authors and authorpreneurs are recognized today through the Pinecone Book Award Program. So let's now hear from our authors. And what we're going to do is we'll introduce each of our authors. We have 4 that we're recognizing in this next 60 minutes to about 90 minutes. And we'll introduce them with a very brief little bio, and then they're going to share with us. They're going to read from their books. They're going to read for us. And then they're going to answer a question about their author journey, because let's share with each other, right? We can all learn from each other's journeys so that we can help each other and have more books come into the world. How does that sound? Let's all unmute and let's celebrate these authors again. Congratulations. And let's get the reading going. Yay! Okay, so let's start with B.K. Wells. B.K. Wells is the author of 3 novels and several stage plays. BK tackles issues including identity, gender, and urban life, all with an irreverent point of view. BK lives in San Francisco and enjoys long philosophical discussions with the dog. Is your dog there today?
She's looking out the window. My neighbor's having a medical emergency and the dog's watching. There's always something going on around here.
So BK is being celebrated today for her book, Semi-Sweet Revenge. BK, take it away.
I just couldn't be late for this. There was no other choice. I signaled left and went the wrong way on a one-way street. I swerved around the honking cars as the music that betrayed me continued to blare from my piss-poor speakers. Excuse me, pardon me, coming through. So sorry, get out of my way. That was when I encountered the jerk. Of course, it was some white guy in his 30s driving a Beamer, thinking he bought the whole fucking road when he paid for those fancy wheels. He pulled in front of me, blocking my way. The jerk leaned out of his window, all pissed off. You're going the wrong way. I looked at the guy like he was an idiot. Did he think I didn't know I was going the wrong way? It was a shortcut, not a mistake. I leaned out my window. I know, I'm late. I can cut 5 minutes off this way. Are you out of your mind? Might be. Could you get out of my way now? For some reason, that really pissed the jerk off. Get out of your way. I am going to sit here and make you wait those 5 minutes until you say you're sorry. I dropped my shoulders, releasing the stress. Oh, I can say I'm sorry. I reached in the glove compartment, pulled out my chili pepper squirter, and emptied it in the jerk's face. He screamed like a baby caught in a waffle iron. I'm sorry you made me waste my pepper spray, you stupid son of a bitch. I gave him a final squirt so he'd get the point. Oh, quit crying, BMW boy. It's not like it's going to kill you. He had been trying to call me a bitch between squirts, but he couldn't quite get it out. Finally, he yelled, I hate you. That was a good one. You hate me. I thought, that's nothing. You should see how I hate me. I took off and I could still hear the jerk whining. This was the 3rd time I'd had to use the pepper spray in a traffic-related incident. And this could only mean one thing. Time to get a new can. I drove up on the sidewalk, taking out the corner of a fruit stand. Stupid rich boys exercising their white male privilege. Has the world gone mad? Is it up to me and me alone to set it aright? I took a Band-Aid off my arm and sealed the gift. I sang along with the radio. Can you hear me? Singing a song, humming a song, singing a song, loving a song, laughing a song, singing a song. Song, 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 sing, 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 song. Like I said, somewhere between the 60s and 1993, things had changed. Glibby glop gloopy had morphed into get the fuck out of my face, and if anything, I was the better for it. I made a right and pulled up to the church. The hearse was parked in front of the steps. Well, it wasn't going anywhere soon. I pulled alongside and double parked. This was the best spot I'd found all week. Thank you.
Unmute. Let's give her a round of applause. Oh,
amazing. Fantastic.
Oh
BK.
my God, that was
So
hilarious.
Sorry for the
Hilarious.
naughty words.
I think the naughty words are what I needed to hear today. That's brilliant. Oh my gosh. And we were just all chuckling. I could see the faces as you were reading. Absolutely hilarious. Okay, the image that I'm not going to get out of my mind for a while is the chili. Okay, try that 5 times fast. Chili pepper spray. Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic. Okay, so if you haven't ordered the book, you got to order the book, right? But we're going to give some swag away too. Okay, so BK, we have a question for you about your author journey.
Okay.
So for aspiring authors, what do you do to get in the zone of writing? What advice do you have, but what do you do to get in the zone of writing?
I think the hardest thing for me to get in, here's how I get in the zone. I have to get my butt in the chair. And for me, the way I do that is with a schedule. If I sit down and start working, I quickly can get into the zone. It just happens once I start writing and I'm enjoying stuff. The other thing that helps me with that is I outline. And I've written most of my life, and I didn't always outline. I was more of like what they call a pantsers now. I just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote and had a big messy glob of stuff. So for me now, planning, I don't have to think about what I'm going to write. I sit down, I get the rear in the chair. Once the rear is there, things get into gear, I get into flow. And I have a schedule, and I try and stick with it every day. And I prioritize my writing, because that's the thing that brings me joy in my life. And my joy needs to be prioritized.
That's a button or a bumper sticker. My joy needs to be prioritized. I'm a published author. That's fantastic. So how do you prioritize it?
I do it first thing in the morning. And I also know that if I give myself this experience in the day, and I'm going to tell you, I struggle with this a lot. I don't always do it. There can be problems, but if I give myself that thing that I live for, that opportunity every day, I can deal with the rest of the stuff that's going to hit me during the day. So I prioritize it historically. I know if I do it, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to operate better during the day. Otherwise, I'll be thinking, man, I still need to do some writing, or hey, I didn't get to write. Then it becomes an issue. So I prioritize it because it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it came to mind when you said that, and we've talked about those green frogs before, especially the gummy frogs. So writing isn't a green frog for you then, because what's that book? Eat That Frog First.
Eat That Frog. When I'm writing fiction is fun. There can be times it's challenging. There can be things I don't want to face. I can tell you, I read Stephen Davidson's book for the work that I'm doing now, because I knew I was going to have to go into some heavy places for me. But the fiction writing's fun. There are times when I'm doing nonfiction, or I also do grant writing. It can be less fun, and that's a little harder. There's times the fiction's not so fun. I'm going to tell you, I wrote this book, Funny Money, which is about 2 women who try to solve their financial problems by robbing the San Francisco Mint. And there was a point where it's a heist story, which I've, out of my thought panels, I had to get Google Maps and figure out how to go from how would they escape? How would they do this? It was completely different than any way I'd ever written something before. And it was very challenging. I'm glad I did it. There was also some description. I had to describe the outside of that building, which people inside of this city don't even notice it. And it looks like it's a penitentiary. So there are times with certain types of writing within the fiction, they're a little more challenging. Challenge is a good thing. It's always going to make you a better writer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Anybody have a question for BK? We got time here.
I do.
Go for it.
BK, what are you writing now?
Right now, I'm working on a book, and it's behind me. It's called The Rainbow Tiger, and it's also fiction. Here's a sticker someone's going to win today. It's a dystopian superhero story that I wanted to write about if the like a Trump type got reelected and started to take away everyone's freedoms bit by bit. And we have a woman who's has no courage. She's always flown under the radar. She's trying to hide out and just get by. And she ends up getting put into the position that she has to become a superhero and save the world. And it's called the Rainbow Tiger.
We'll look forward to seeing that. And you know, the best way to keep up to date with any authors is to follow the author. So when you go on Amazon and you click on their name, you have an option to follow the author. And I occasionally get like email, I think they come as emails, right? To say, hey, you might be interested in knowing this was just published. Yeah.
When something gets released, yeah, you usually get a notification.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's give away some prizes and swag, especially that you started that out, BK.
Okay.
So BK says she has some books and some ebooks to give away. So what I'd like is if you're interested in receiving some swag from BK, write in the chat box something that was an aha for you from what she read, or like something you liked from what she read, or something that she shared about her author journey and aha. Put that
We've got
in the
stickers,
chat.
we've got books, we've got pins.
And we'll keep it timed to about 15 seconds. We'll get my old dial watch out here. I need Jeopardy music at this point. I'm going to put the
I'm not sure how to get to the chat box.
Right.
Say
This
that
is
again?
my first Zoom experience, and I don't know how to get to the chat box.
Are you on a phone or your computer?
Phone.
If you kind of roll down to the bottom, a little thing should appear, and you should see the option to chat, but we can also just put your name in here.
All right, please do. DW Plato, thank you.
Got it.
And DW Plato is another author that we'll be celebrating on May the 1st. Thanks for joining us.
Actually, I'm not going to be able to. That's why I popped in today.
Okay. We'll be sure to recognize
I sent you an email. Yeah, I sent you an email. So I'm sorry. I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. We'll be sure to recognize you on May the 1st. Okay. Yes, BK has written several hilarious books. Love the reading, really held my interest, want more.
By the end of the year, I'm going to try and do audio books. And I haven't done it yet, but.
Comment on that. BK, I hope you're going to narrate them yourself.
I'm going to do them myself because I didn't teach high school for 20 years not to use this voice to keep people's interest.
Okay, window closing. Window closing, 5 more seconds.
Dot, 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 dot. That's my Jeopardy.
Okay, window closed. There we go. So I'm just putting in the end of BK Wells swag notes. Okay, there we go. I'll have to be sure to save that, BK. little bit more informal in this part, eh? There's that Canadian A coming out. Wendy understands. Okay, so round of applause for BK. Congratulations. Everybody can unmute and let's woohoo and applaud for BK. I don't know how to unmute. Oh, thank you. Fantastic. Yay.
Thanks,
Okay.
BK.
So our next author is Dr. Stephen Davidson. And Dr. Stephen Davidson is a clinical sexologist and licensed clinical social worker in private practice in Wilton Manors, Florida. When he began his career in social work, he had no intention on specializing in sex therapy, but wanted to help individuals and couples requesting help with sexually oriented problems. He pursued his doctorate of philosophy in clinical sexology and national certification by the American Association of Sexuality Educators, Counselors, and Therapists. We are celebrating today Stephen's book, Sexual Integrity, Finding the Courage to Be Yourself. And I think this is your first book, right, Stephen?
This is my first book, yes, and it's doing well. Thank you.
Congratulations. Take it away.
Okay, I'm going to read 3 paragraphs from the book. Sexuality goes to the core of our being as living creatures. It entwines with the foundation of our personality and how we relate to others. It is the essence of life itself, as natural as breathing. It is raw, primal, and innate. Since we've been taught to fear our sexual desires, we filter them through socially imposed notions of love and romance and find ourselves feeling erotically unsatisfied. The filtration is an attempt to obliterate the authentic sexual self and conform to cultural mandates. The true self is hidden behind the metaphorical mask. Hiding the truth can be necessary for survival in an environment that is too toxic for integrity. To be truly healthy and happy, there must be someone with whom we can be ourselves. In the romantic relationship, real intimacy is obscure if the mask is never removed. Sexual desires are repressed in relationships where it isn't safe to disclose the truth. Being seen authentically comes with risk. In the therapeutic relationship, the therapist provides a safe space for the client to be known authentically. The therapist mirrors to the client this truer image, validating the client and helping them integrate the hidden parts. However, even in the most clinical settings, some things still seem too forbidden to share. It is here that wounds are deep and specialized care is necessary to navigate these darkest of secrets.
Yay. It
That was
seems
great.
so serious. It seems so serious. But I mean, I have read the book and there's so much insight. There was so much that I personally learned from the book and this whole thing about the mask that we wear, we've had on for so long, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I chose that for the cover of the book because over the course of my career, people frequently say, I feel like no one knows me. I feel like I'm hiding behind a mask. I feel like I'm leading a double life. I wish I could just remove this mask and let people see me as I am. And so when people come into my office, the work that they're doing feels very serious to them. It often feels very heavy and risky. And it's why the subtitle of my book is about courage to be yourself. It takes courage to tell the truth and courage to let people see you for who you are authentically. And that's what integrity is.
And I would imagine what you're saying is important because I imagine that in addition to the courage to seek truth, but the courage to see ourselves, right? To like, the courage to explore, but the courage also to see it. I mean, we can explore it, but not accept it or embrace it. So that takes courage as well. I think you mentioned that in the book.
Yes, that's what I mean by integrating it, integrating the disowned parts. And so there are things that we may know are true about ourselves, but we try to repress it and compartmentalize it or overcome it. And, some things it might be necessary that we compartmentalize it and manage it in that way. But most of the things that people bring to therapy are really pretty benign. It's just that they fear they are not normal or that it wouldn't be accepted by their family, their partner.
Yeah. And so how many years of practice have you been in now?
Well, I've been licensed for at least 30 years, but I was working in the field of mental health for longer than that. So probably around 38, 39 years that I've been working in the field of mental health, and it's just evolved into a specialization in sexology.
And then there was a moment in time when something said to you, I need to write a book. And so when did that happen and why was it important for you to write this book?
I've actually been writing all my life, just not books. I have written over 40 workshops for healthcare providers and facilitated those workshops. I have written scripts for 6 training videos for a healthcare organization. I've just been hired to do number 7. I used to write an advice column that appeared in about 6 different newspapers and online, but I'd never written a book before. And this book was important because it really highlights the essence of my work. And I wanted to put something out in writing that addressed the very common issues that I deal with on a day-to-day basis, because many of these issues come up repeatedly. You know, the scenarios in the book, it's not a one-time scenario. I've seen that scenario 30, 50, 100 times over the course of my career. And so there are these common themes that come up again and again for individuals and couples. And I thought the book was just a nice way to put it out there so that people might want to read a book instead of go see a sex therapist, and might even be a little more affordable as well.
Thank you so much for pouring all your passion into this book, and nudge, nudge, we're looking forward to your next book.
Okay, very good.
So let's talk about swag, because you came bearing gifts as well. What did you come with?
Well, I am going to give away a signed copy of my book, and I am also going to give away a 30-minute virtual education consultation. So this could be for an individual, a couple, it could even be for a group. I have been invited in the past to speak to a group of romance writers who were trying to create sexual scenarios for their characters. I once spoke at the opening of an opera to talk about the sexual psychology of the characters in the opera. So, you know, sometimes people invite me to come and talk to their organization or group just because there's a sexual subject they're interested in. So I'm offering that virtually for an individual, a couple, or a group presentation.
Thank you so much for that, for those generous gifts. So I'm going to give 30 seconds here on my old-fashioned clock here. So everybody who's interested in receiving either the book or the 30-minute session with Stephen, please enter your aha, your takeaway from either something that Stephen read or spoke about from his author journey. And then we're going to pick numbers. We're going to pick someone from those. I really need that Jeopardy music here.
Yeah. We'll get it for your next session.
Yeah, that's right.
Neener, neener, nee. Do, do, do.
And we have a Canadian winning in the Jeopardy right now, leading, right?
She's
What's she
doing
at?
great.
Like number 14 or something.
Yeah,
okay,
she's
so
doing
here's
great.
what we have. Hiding behind a mask, courage. The metaphorical mask, very intimidating subject, need courage to face your fears, yet the idea of too toxic for integrity. Okay, so closing, 5 more seconds. Anybody else want to respond in there?
That's good. The deep need to be seen.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. Answers. Okay, so here we have, and the last one was the deep need to be seen. Okay, so the numbers that came from my mind, Stephen, because you mentioned 38 years. Okay, so let's go with number 3, which would be Mary Helfrich. Congratulations, Mary Helfrich. And then so we've put you down for the book. And Stephen, is that a book separate from the session or all together? You're on mute.
I'll do them together.
You'll do them together.
The book and the session. Yeah.
Okay. So congratulations, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, and I have your email address, so I'll email you, and then I'll just need to have you reply with your contact information, and then I'll pass that on to Stephen.
Okay, thanks.
So round of applause again. Thank you, Stephen Davidson, for writing the book and getting it out there. Yay!
Yay!
Good job. Okay. And now on to our next author. We having fun here? I think this is amazing. We're having fun. Yay. Okay, good. Jayne Wesler. Jayne Wesler is celebrating 3 books today. Okay. Jayne Wesler is a lawyer, psychotherapist, and former child study team member who has represented students with special needs for decades. We are celebrating 3 books authored by Jayne today: No Bones About It, Hurt So Good, and Orgasm of Tears Workbook. And I wrote No Bones About It twice. Oh, Railroaded. That was the other one. That's right. Railroaded. Congratulations, Jayne. Yay. And take it away, Jayne. Let's hear from
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read from actually the back of the No Bones About It: Increase Your Bone Density Without Medication. Have you been diagnosed with osteopenia or osteoporosis? Has your doctor recommended medication to increase your bone density? Did your doctor tell you that those medications can increase your risk of esophageal cancer, osteosarcoma, osteonecrosis of the jaw, atypical femoral fracture, cardiovascular death, heart attack, and stroke? Since she was a young woman of 25, Jayne Wesler recognized that she was at risk for contracting osteoporosis when she got older. How did she know? She had several risk factors. She was female. She had a small bone structure. She was Caucasian, and she was a lightweight. For those reasons, for all of Ms. Wesler's life, she engaged in many activities specifically designed to maintain her bone density. Yet, when she was 54 years old, her doctor told her that her bones were thinning at an alarming rate. Thus began a year-long journey to find out why her bones were thinning at an alarming rate, according to her primary doctor, why he intended to let this continue with no intervention for another 18 months, what was causing her alarming bone loss, and what she could do about it. At the end of that year, Ms. Wesler had stabilized the overall bone density in her hips and had increased the bone density in her left hip by a whopping 11.3% without medication. Ms. Wesler would like to help you to learn how to increase your bone density without medication. Open the book to find out more.
Yay, bravo.
Thank you.
Awesome, fantastic. Oh my goodness, so many takeaways in your book. So many takeaways. And I'm just searching for the question here. What motivated you to write your book? How did you stay motivated during the writing process?
Oh, that's a good question. Why did I write it? What motivated me? What motivated me was this seeming life or death situation I found myself in. And suddenly I was catapulted into this place where I was alone and facing this issue. And, so as an attorney, I'm there with my doctor and he's telling me your bones are thinning at an alarming rate, but he's not going to do anything. And I'm saying, hey, wait a second. And I'm asking question after question. I'm not getting any real answers. And I think, I ended up cross-examining him by mistake just because I was intense about like what's happening here. And he finally said to me, eat more ice cream. And that's when I knew I'm not getting any help here. And so when I left the office, I said, have to figure this out. And so that's the year-long journey. It's a lifelong journey at this point, but that first year was terrifying. I looked all over the globe. I would have gone anywhere. I looked in Australia, I looked in the UK, I looked in New Zealand, I looked at California, etc. I couldn't find anybody who was really doing anything that at that point that I thought was going to help me. I made the rounds of doctors and I just found I learned a lot. It was very eye-opening along the way. And I was just compelled because I would lie awake at night thinking. I mean, I was also working as a litigation attorney, very, very long hours. And then, you know, sliding into bed, like, boom, okay, sleep now. That doesn't work very well. And so I had this preying on my mind, but I was thinking, there are millions of women and men out there who suffer from osteopenia and osteoporosis, and it actually can kill you. If you fracture your hip and you're laid up, you get pneumonia, you can die. A lot of people die from it. And so it was preying on my mind, and I'm thinking, you know, as an attorney, I did a lot of public speaking. We would have events, and I'm picturing myself renting a conference room and having people come in and telling them what else they can do, that they didn't have to just take this medication. And did they know what the medication was doing? Do they know there are other options? And so it's just been weighing on me all this time. And that's why I wrote the book. How do I stay motivated? It's because I have to. I have to. It's sort of a, you know, it's somewhat of a burden because bone is growing tissue. And so it's always regenerating, it's always breaking down, and it's always reforming. And if it breaks down faster than it reforms, which happens when you get older to men and women, then you can be in trouble. But there's a whole lot to learn about the industry of DEXA scans and drugs, which is really not a great thing. It's pretty disturbing when you find out about it. So that's what keeps me motivated, and all the women and men who are now in my Facebook group who reach out to me, people reach out to me via email, and it's these people and the need that's out there that keeps me going.
And I mean, when I opened the book and I've shared the book with my mom, my sisters, like we're just devouring it. And I remember, because you also have a Facebook group page with over 400 or 500 people in this group. And then you had the course, and I attended the course, and I think BK, you were in the course as well. And I mean, you know, when you take a look at the DEXA scan reports and some of the things that you shared about, well, I can't remember right now what it was, but I remember being, oh my goodness. And so you're able to help us reframe from this disturbing news to finding hope and like more hope.
Mm-hmm. In a natural way, and a way that you don't have to expose yourself to the risks of these medications, which we found out when you take a look at the statistics.
Oh, I remember you saying about the jaw.
Osteonecrosis, meaning bone death of the jaw. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. As a side effect of this one, we won't name the medication, but a lot of them. And a lot of them, right? And it just blew me away. And I said, here you're trying to help yourself for not breaking your bones, but in the meantime, you're going to get bone death in your jaw, like,
or your thigh bone might snap one day while you're walking, or you might get esophageal cancer.
Incredible. And it's packed into this like this tiny little book here, packed. Love it. I don't know if it's an airplane read, that quick of a read, but
actually ask easy. Wendy Weber. I remember Wendy wrote me an awesome review after reading it, and she said, you know, it's a quick read. I think 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
She devoured it.
Fantastic. Okay, so Jayne, you came bearing gifts as well.
I did. I'm going to give away ebooks of this book.
Okay, so let's you had me at Orgasm. I already have all of Jayne's books prized to someone else. Yeah, the Orgasm book is a good too, along with the
It does grab your attention.
Yeah. Okay, so to get in on how many ebooks are you giving away?
Limitless, I guess.
Okay, so if you're interested in an ebook from Jayne, thank you for the generous gift. Put your aha or your takeaway, something that Jayne read, from something Jayne read, or something that she shared about her journey. And if you put that in the chat, and then we'll be sure to follow up with an email. And we have our Jeopardy music in our heads now, and we'll give 30 seconds as we imagine in our minds that Jeopardy music as it counts down to.
We could ask some
go
Jeopardy
tick
questions
tock.
about bones.
Okay.
Neener, neener, neener.
An eye opener. Well, the side effects of the medication is staggering. Yes, definitely. Calling her doctor on his dismissal of her concerns. Yes, amazing.
So glad she
Definitely.
took the initiative to write this book, an eye opener and wealth of information. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Yay.
Good. Okay. And tick, 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 talk. Anybody else would like an ebook copy of her book? There we go, another one. And the dangers of medication. Oh, when you read this book, you'll just be blown away.
Yeah, it's very good. I read it. I really enjoyed it. It's good.
There, Wendy says this book is DW. You've put that in private chat to me. Try again and to send it to everyone. So this book is not just a quick read, it's a reference book that you can go back to again and again. Highly recommended. And
Thank you, Wendy.
And that the doctor prescribed more ice cream.
I didn't fill that prescription. When was I diagnosed? I was initially diagnosed DW when I was 51. But that news that my bones were thinning at an alarming rate came when I was 54.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And 5 seconds in closing on this. And we're appreciating it again, Jayne, that you wrote the book and put all your knowledge and into this book for us to benefit from. Thank you very, very much for that.
Thank you, Tamalinda. Thank you for all of this, the whole ceremony. It's fantastic.
Okay, and applause again. Everybody unmute, and we'll applause Jayne again for all her writing and her work in getting published. Yay! Okay. Thank you. So we have our author, Wendy Weber, with over 30 years of experience as a healing practitioner. Wendy brings a broad range of skills to her approach to regression to cause hypnosis. She presents a thorough, clear, and systematic approach to help hypnosis practitioners make sense of regression hypnotherapy. And Wendy is being celebrated today for her book, Ditch the Script. And take it away, Wendy. Yay! Everybody can applaud. Yay!
Success is in your setup. When you get a new client, how confident do you feel proceeding with them? You need to feel confident in your ability to deliver on your promise of results. That's what your clients are paying you for. The secret to your success lies in your setup. It's in how well you set yourself up and your client to be successful working together. Setting yourself up for successful hypnotherapy sessions can give you the confidence that you need to guide a healing process even when you're not sure what to do. It can give you the time you need to take on even the most challenging issues or clients. I've had clients who wouldn't follow instructions and clients who weren't able to relax. I've had clients who were so anxious that they couldn't keep their eyes closed for more than a few seconds at a time. And clients with so many problems that I felt completely, and I mean this, completely out of my depth, just trying to figure out where to begin. I've had clients who would run away into past lives rather than face the truth of just how painful their childhood had been in this life. I've had clients who were so disconnected from their feelings that they couldn't or wouldn't let themselves feel anything. And then there are those clients who have, would come in and have a complete emotional meltdown before they even sat down in the chair. This is the kind of stuff that will drive you nuts if you don't know what to do. Then there's all the weird and creepy stuff. There are clients who see dead people, have experienced alien abductions, and those who can't sleep because there are things that go bump in the night. I've had more than one client turn into a demon. I kid you not. Maybe it wasn't the Linda Blair pea soup spewing kind of thing, but nasty just the same. I know what it's like to have stuff happen that you're not prepared for and how seriously it can throw you off your game. If you don't know where to begin or set up for the next step, you won't feel confident. That's a problem, because if you don't feel confident in your session, your clients will sense it. A client in hypnosis is hyper alert. If you're feeling nervous, they're going to pick up on it. If you have doubts, they're going to feel it. And they won't trust you enough to follow your instructions. You need them to follow instructions to get the results. Your primary job is to make it safe for the client to follow your instructions. You can't do that if you don't feel confident. When you don't feel like you're in charge of your sessions, you'll start to lose your nerve. You'll begin to doubt yourself and your abilities. You might even begin to question whether or not you're even qualified to do this work. You'll be so worried about all the unknowns and everything that might go wrong or could go wrong that you won't be thinking about how you can help a person. You'll be focusing on all the what ifs. What if you take on more than you can handle? What if you get in over your head? What if you fuck up and make a complete fool of yourself? By the way, if you don't like bad language, get over it. Your clients are going to use it, and it's actually a good thing. Bad language has therapeutic value in your sessions. So learn how and when to encourage it. When you start thinking this way, it's only a matter of time before you'll start beating yourself up. You'll convince yourself that you don't know enough, that you're not good enough, that you need more tools or techniques, when the truth is you feel afraid. That's when you'll start to avoid, you'll start to procrastinate, you'll put things off. You'll find ways to distract yourself, and you'll avoid doing the regression work. And when fear blocks you, you won't get a lasting result. But what if I were to tell you that there are just 3 things in your way? The 3 most common obstacles that get in the way of your ability to confidently guide a healing process and get results that last all have everything to do with how you think. Change how you think, and you'll get a different result. But you already knew that, didn't you?
Oh, we can all unmute and applaud. That's fantastic.
Yay.
Yay.
Great reading.
Yay.
I hope you did your own audiobook too.
No, I haven't done any audiobooks yet.
Not yet. Okay, because you have amazing delivery. Amazing
Oh, thank you.
delivery. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Wendy. So here's a question. Okay, what do you do to get in the zone of writing?
I'm always in the zone, baby. Actually, you know, my approach to things is I'm pretty systematic. You know, I mean, that's what I write about, is how to be systematic in your approach to the therapy, you know, to regression hypnotherapy. So helping people to do things in a step-by-step way. For myself, you know, I have 2 ways of writing. One is that I love to journal. So, you know, I do brain dumping. So I get out my journal and I just write, just do stream of consciousness and just get it out of my head. And that tends to make room for more insightful stuff to come through. It's a way for me to just kind of get the clutter out of the way and get organized. Lists, BK mentioned, you know, just outlining, making lists, just bullet pointing stuff, getting it on the paper, you know, without actually trying to accomplish anything, I think is a big piece for me. And then, you know, the real work of writing isn't the writing, it's the editing. It's, you know, all writing is editing, right? It's going back and rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it. You know, this is such a tiny little book, but it took about 10 years to write. And to actually bring it into form, when I sat down and said, okay, I'm gonna, you know, actually publish this, that was probably about a 6-month, you know, process. But the writing is something that's just ongoing.
Thank you so much. That's really good information to take, that it's not necessarily magic happening overnight. And if it takes 10 years to write, well, at that point, another 6 months ain't so bad, right? Ain't so
Right.
bad. Where do you do your best writing? Because I know you're in BC on the West Coast. So I'm imagining next to the ocean and the water and the sand and all that, but maybe not.
Yes,
But
yes,
where
with
do
the
you
whales
do?
going by. And
Where do you do your best writing?
I have a little sunroom that's kind of like my favorite room in the house. It's just it actually started out as a sort of a gazebo porch, and we closed it in, and it's my favorite room in the house. And so I have a chair there, and it's where I get my coffee out in the morning, and I sit down with my journal, and that's where I like to just, dump stuff onto the page. But I also have like this room here. This is my office space, and this is where I do research and some more of that, sort of less organic stuff. The more organized stuff happens here on the computer. So if I need to do research and I'm going to, get on the internet or whatever, then that I do that here. So honestly, everywhere. I have pulled over in the car because suddenly I started getting a download, and I'll grab a notebook and I have to like write it down, because if I don't, I'm going to probably end up in an accident, because it's not going, it just drives me buggy until I actually get it down on a piece of paper. So anybody else do that? Oh, good.
I phoned myself and left myself a message right on my home phone. But so when you're in your sunroom and you say you're dumping onto the page, are you long form writing first, or are you dumping onto the page via keyboard? Okay.
I buy cases of these little colored pens.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. And you came with gifts as well. Tell us what you came with.
Yeah, well, I have a very sort of a niche audience, and that, that is hypnosis practitioners who really want to get good at facilitating regression hypnotherapy. And so that's what these are about. It's not really for the general public. However, I will happily drop ship a copy of Ditch the Script. This is get everything you need from the client for successful hypnotherapy and set up to wrap up for results.
Wonderful. Thank you. Fabulous. Okay. So let's do the 30 seconds here. If you're interested in coming in on the draw from Wendy Weber for a drop ship copy of her book, Ditch the Script, put something in the chat, something you heard that she read, or an aha from her author journey. And there we are again. We're hyper alert to the Jeopardy music in our heads as it tick, 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 ticks away. How many books did you write so far on Ditch the Devil's Therapy theme? How many books?
The first book was the Devil's Therapy, and then it was translated into German. So there's two different versions of that, and then there's Ditch the Script, and then the last one I just did this year was Radical Healing.
So
what kind of response have you gotten about the German book? I found that interesting that you selected German, and I'm just interested in.
Oh, I had somebody in Switzerland who actually volunteered to do it. Omni Hypnosis is kind of the school for regression hypnosis. It was established in the United States by Gerald Kine, and then Hans Rudi Wift, who is a Swiss, or at least he lives in Switzerland. He took over after Jerry, and he moved the whole operation over into to Zurich. So there's a huge following in Europe. Like this is the newest, the greatest newest thing in Europe. So someone contacted me and said, "Listen, I'd love to translate your book for you." So I went, "Hallelujah!"
Yeah. Hallelujah. And
Yeah.
hallelujah, look at the comments in chat. We have love to hear that the client is number one, must be very interesting and diverse. And then that was from Mary. And Cindy says, stream of consciousness, brain dump onto paper makes room for more insightful thinking. Thank you, Cindy. And BK says, I want to know more about regression therapy. And Stephen says, interested to know more about past life regressions. And Jane says this regression therapy is very interesting. Also the willingness to write when the voice calls. Yes. And Cindy says, oh, I miss Gerald Kine. So you have a fan here. And Rachel says, love that the systematic approach sets up the hypnotist for success in regression. Great to know where to go next. Thank you, everybody. So we're going to end the swag desires, well, wishes there. And because you've written 4 books, let's pick the 4th one from there. So who's the 4th one there? BK, it's 1, 2, 3. Stephen Davidson. Congratulations. Okay.
Yay.
So we have your email and I have your contact information and I'll send that off to Wendy.
I'll also mention, just because there are a few people that were interested in regression. My website is tribeofhealers.com, and I have a free mini course there. So if you go over, you can get on my list, and I'll send you gobs of information, and you can watch the my hypnosis practice business system course.
Hey, can I ask you, what's radical healing about?
Radical healing, the subtitle on that is The Hypnosis Practitioner's Guide to Harnessing the Healing Power of the Educational Pre-Talk. I'm all about setup. It's my whole thing. I have a 7-step 3-phase process, which is all covered in the Devil's Therapy. But really, the secret to success is just setting up. And if you do the groundwork, everything else will just come together very, very fluidly. I'm lazy. I don't want to work too hard. You know, I want to make it easy for the client to just slide into where they need to be. And the way to do that is to prepare them. So that's really where I put the bulk of my focus, because it's not taught. That's not how we're taught. Yeah. We're taught tools and techniques. We're not taught how to think in your sessions. And so I came at it from a different angle, just simply because these were the places that I stumbled.
Thank you. Thank you for
That's
clarifying
great.
that. So, you know, Wendy, that tip that started us off. So we put tribeofhealers.com in the chat, and all of the other authors here who have who we're celebrating tonight, if you could also put your websites in, if you're interested in sharing that, feel free to include that in the chat down there as well, please. And we'll make sure that I don't know if we have that on the Pinecone Book Award page or not, but we'll see about doing some links in there as well. So again,
yeah, there's gobs of information on my website. I've been, tons of articles and videos, and as I say, there's a free mini course there, and I have some online training courses as well that are quite popular.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So we're just past 7 o'clock here, and we do want to keep this under the 90-minute mark, and I think we're going to do that. Let me just check my notes here. So thank you. Thank you, our authors, BK Wells, Stephen Davidson, Jayne Wesler, and Wendy Weber, for reading from your books. And let's all unmute again, because we love hearing applause. We love hearing those yoo-hoos, right?
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your author journeys with us too. Yay!
Thank you.
And again, we want to thank our sponsor, Book Brush, and for Kathleen Sweeney for popping in and joining us for a few moments there in the beginning. And I'm just saving chat again to make sure that we have all that saved there. And just before we wrap up, we have a video message from a well-known writer, which I would like to play right now. And just somebody is still... We gotta mute some so we don't get any feedback here. Thank you. Awesome. So I'm just going to share my screen and see that I do this properly, and video, and here we go.
Hello, my name is Jason Pfeiffer. I'm the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. I should have had a prop. I'm the editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine. And this is a message for BK Wells, Jayne Wesler, Stephen Davidson, and Wendy Weber. I am here to congratulate you on writing your book for self-publishing. That is awesome. I will tell you something. I've written a book. I know all about it. Here it is. I'm full of props. Here it is. Build for tomorrow. I know what it takes. It is a lot of work. It's an insane amount of work. You know, everybody says, it's funny. It's like, it's one of those things where everybody says, oh, you want to write a book? It's a lot of work. You better know it's a lot. It's more work than you think. And you're like, yeah, no, I know it's a lot more work than I think. And then you do it and you're like, oh, it's a lot more work than I think. Like, it's a crazy amount of work. It's like it's birthing a written child. So you've done it. You've done it, and that is marvelous. Congratulations. It is so valuable to commit yourself, not to just throwing down a few things on paper, not to just kind of dashing stuff off, but to really contemplatively think about what it is that you want to put out in the world. What is the value that you have that others need, that you just feel so confident about, that you're willing to take the risk, take the time, take the effort, take the heartache, because there's a lot of heartache in book writing too, and put it out into the world so that others can benefit from it. And I congratulate you on doing so. You should toast yourselves. Grab the nearest beverage of your choice, raise it, drink it, do it again and again and again responsibly, because this is fantastic. So thank you for putting things out into the world. The world is better because of it.
That was really cool.
Yay. He's such a good friend. He doesn't even know me. Not yet, but he's getting to know me. Oh, again, congratulations, everybody. Absolutely thrilled that you could join us. Absolutely thrilled that our guests could join us. Thank you, BK, for your technical support behind the scenes there. We're just going to save chat one more time. And the next step, you know, we always want to wish everybody well and a safe journey and whatever they're doing next. And again, be sure to find these fantastic authors on Amazon. Be sure to buy their books from Amazon, and be sure to please leave reviews and leave star ratings, because those are appreciated. And, you know, they're important in helping other readers with their decision on purchasing and reading this important information that these authors have taken their time to pour out, to brain dump on pages, to pour their hearts and souls onto the page, the keyboard, and then the printed book. So thank you, everybody. And we'll see you soon again online somewhere, I'm sure. Bye for now. Thank you, Pinecone.
Thank you, Tamalinda and Pinecone Books and Broad Brush. Awesome. Thank you for your support and your sponsorship.
Tamalinda, you did a wonderful job today. You should feel proud. Celebrate you as well.
This was so much fun. Yay.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Ooh.